Let's talk about the song Don't Let 'Em Steal Your Heart Away, which is from the album Hello, I Must Be Going. Here's an interesting little factoid. This song was re-released as a single. It was a single back in the 80s. We'll talk about that in a second. But it was re-released in 2004, I believe, as a single to adult contemporary radio to promote the Love Songs double disc package that came out in 2004. Do you guys remember that CD? It's actually a good compilation. I really like it because it's a lot of ballads and mid-tempo stuff, and there's some live stuff as well. But it has those annoying like CD double disc CD things where like what ends up happening is like the CD gets like no longer attached, the little teeth die. Anyway, so in order to celebrate this and to give like Don't Let Them Steal Your Heart Away one more shot at the charts, and it actually did pretty well. I think it went to number 5 on the adult contemporary charts, the Billboard charts, and that was where Phil was living with stuff like Can't Stop Loving You. He was living there with You'll Be in My Heart. He had done really well. I think those both went to number 1. So this went to number 5, which is pretty good some 20 odd years later. But back in the early days, this song was written, one of the songs apparently was written for the Face Value in the Face Value sessions, which didn't make the album. It was then put on Hello, I Must Be Going. It's a great tune. I love it. It's one of my favorite on this record. I believe it was the 4th single from Hello, I Must Be Going. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've got Through These Walls, You Can't Hurry Love, then I Don't Care Anymore. And then I think it was this one. And then there was more. I think there was like 6 or 7 singles officially that came out. I think after this, maybe it was Why Can't Wait Till Morning, or maybe It Don't Matter to Me. Doesn't matter. This is a really, really great tune. You know, Phil would eventually be known for ballads, right? And in fact, I would say that shortly after this album, I think he invented the 80s ballad because Against All Odds came very soon after this. In fact, I think Against All Odds was written in this time or written in the Face Value time, but meant to be included on Hello, but then wasn't good enough for Hello. So he used it for a soundtrack. Then it went to number 1. After this, we would get Against All Odds, and then we get One More Night. But before this, he was still doing kind of more of that American standards influence. So more of a Tin Pan Alley sound, a Count Basie, a Frank Sinatra sound. And that's what I think this song has. I'm glad Phil moved away from that. He invented his own 80s style of ballads and pop songs because these songs felt just a little bit too much like a cover. But I think it's a great tune, really, really great tune. I would not include If Leaving Me Is Easy in that little rant I just had. If You're Leaving Me Is Easy is a really special song. But I like that this is a ballad that has a groove to it. There was some pretty rough, so one of the critics said in the Record Mirror, if the last single led you to believe this bloke had any get up and go, this will assure that it has all got up and gone. So one critic in the Record Mirror says, this is a song for elderly gentlemen who sit in exclusive clubs, sipping brandy and mithering on about the good old days of the 60s and 70s. That's harsh. It's true in a way that like before Phil really got his sound, which he would get on No Jacket Required, before Phil really identified his sound, he was dabbling in the Motown-inspired era, the classic American sound, the Beatles sound of the UK. So he was still just kind of finding his footing as an artist. So to say that, like this was almost like a cover song, like an original cover song, I kind of get that. That's okay. But it's a great song. The slow tempo, but with the nice pickup drums, reminds me of Thunder and Lightning, which is interesting because there is a B-side of this, a single of this where Thunder and Lightning is on the reverse side. Another interesting thing is if any of our collector friends have a copy of this, I don't, but apparently the 7-inch or maybe the 12-inch too, but perhaps the 7-inch of this album comes with a 3D artwork. So I don't know if you got glasses. It's kind of ugly, but tell me about it. If you've seen this or if you have a copy, I'd love to know. So what do you think about Don't Let 'Em Steal Your Heart Away? Back in the day, so we said it went to number 5, but back in the day, how did it do? It went to number 45 on the chart. So not that great, but still okay. But it did much better when it was re-released in 2004. What do you think of this song? Do you remember when it was re-released back in 2004? I remember hearing it on the radio a bit more. Great tune.